Well, today I am going to be doing the season preview for the Calgary Flames, the second best team in Alberta. So, yeah, I don't know if they're the second best team or the first best team. I don't know, but all I know is that the battle for Alberta is definitely renewed because the Flames are now good and the Oilers are now good after like millions of years. But let's see what the Calgary Flames, their additions definitely outweigh their losses. They add Mike Smith. I think that gives them consistency in net. They add Travis Hamonic. Their defensive core is stacked. And they add Eddie Lack. So they have two new goalies. Their whole goaltending tandem is new. And all they really lost was Chad Johnson. And is that really that big of a blow? That kind of cancels out Eddie Lack. But their defensive core is pretty good now. So you have three guys who I think are capable. No, they have four defensemen that I think can all play top minutes. Like you have four guys who can play 25 minutes a night, which kind of makes it easier because your fifth and sixth don't really have to be that good if they're only playing 10 minutes a night. You have Giordano, who's your top defenseman, playing with Dougie Hamilton, who's your next best defenseman. Then you have the Travis Hamonic and TJ Brody. Brody's probably the biggest offensive. I mean, you could even actually no. I'd probably put Giordano and Brody, who are two way, and Hamonic, who's defensive minded, with Dougie Hamilton, who's Hamonic, not Hamilton. I don't know if I said Hamilton or not, but yeah. So that's how I'd have it. And then you have Matt Barkowski and Michael Stone, probably only to play like 10 minutes a night. And the forward group, you have Johnny Gaudreau on left wing, who I think is due for a big season. I think he's going to be really good. Sean Monahan, who's I think finally able to take on the number one role. I think he's finally the number one center now. And Troy Brouwer, who played with him last year, didn't do bad with them, so I guess he can be on there. Matthew Tkachuk, that big force as a 19-year-old, had like 105 penalty minutes. Not bad. But yeah, Tkachuk's on your second line. I think Tkachuk's gonna have a better offensive year. Sam Bennett, who I think is going to be able to develop into that number two center. Spencer Fu, who pretty sure he won the NCAA thing. I forgot what it's called. But Spencer Fu, who the Calgary Flames fully expect to make the lineup, I put him on the second line because I don't see him being good enough coming out of the NCAA to play on the first line. I don't see him starting the season on the first line. I see him starting the season on the second line. That's why I have Brouwer over him. And then on the third line, I have Chris Versteeg, who's good defensively, Mikhail Backlund, who's an easy, good third line center, Michael Frolik, that's good. And then on the fourth line, I have Emile Poirier, who I think is going to be able to step into the NHL this year and play that defensive role. Matt Stahan, that's perfectly fine with the third line, fourth line center, and Curtis Lazar, who they re-signed. Lazar and Stahan can really switch. And the good part with this is they have almost two guys on every single line that's listed that can play center. So that's just like an added bonus because if someone gets thrown out of a draw, they can come in and take it. But their forward core is good, their defensive core is good, and their goaltending tandem with Mike Smith and Eddie Lack is good. If Eddie Lack can, I mean not Eddie Lack, if Mike Smith can be that number one and like, because his numbers weren't that bad and he was playing behind an awful Coyotes defense. So what is he gonna look like playing behind one of the best defensive cores in the NHL? But yeah, I think Goudreau. I mean, when you're looking at their goal scoring, they shouldn't have a problem. Goudreau's good for 30. I think he's going to have that big year. Monahan's 20, and Brower's probably 15. Maybe Monahan's 25, 15, but yeah. Tkachuk, I think, is going to have 20. Bennett, I think, is going to be good for 20. And Spencer Fu was probably going to have 15 in his rookie year, coming in as that free agent. Versteeg's probably 10. Mikhail Backlund's probably like 7. Frolik's probably like 6. So out of your top 9, you have 143 goals, which isn't bad. Emile Poirier, I think, will be good for 5. Stahan's probably good for 5, and Lazar's probably good for like 7. So out of your whole forward group, you have 160 goals. No means is that bad. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. But the way Calgary plays is they generate that offense from their defense. I think Giordano's going to have 10. Hamilton's going to have 20. Not 20, 15. 15. He'll have 15. Hamonic's 5. Brody's 15. So, yeah, right now they're scoring goals. They're perfectly good with it. I have them scoring about 240, 250. So they shouldn't have a problem putting the puck in the net. They shouldn't have a problem keeping the puck out of the net. And they're good. They're a good, young, fast team. And Mike Smith, is he a number 1? That's the question. Is he a number 1? He's a year older. His numbers weren't horrible behind that awful Coyotes defense, because their defense was just terrible last year. Like, it wasn't good. So, I mean, Eddie Lack's fine as a backup. He's perfectly fine. So, yeah, there's Calgary. Goudreau's going to have a good season. He's due. He's due for one. He's going to have a big season. Monahan's going to have the big season with Goudreau. One of them will have a really good season. And so, yeah. I mean, I don't see any problem with their center core. Stahan's fine as a number 4. Backlund's fine as a number 3. I think he'll be able to develop into that number 2. And yeah, I don't see any problems with it. Mike Smith, I can't remember what his numbers were, but I know they weren't terrible. They weren't completely terrible. I mean, he only played 19 career games in the playoffs, which could be bad, but so last year he started 55 games and he had 19 wins and 29 losses. Oh my god. But he had a 2.92 on the Coyotes, and he had a 914 save percentage on the Coyotes. Is it bad? He's going from probably the bottom 3 defense scores to a top 3 defense score. I think he'll be good in there, and I think he'll be good. That's why I have the Flames finishing 2nd in the Pacific. Yep, I know. Come at me, Ducks fans. I'm finishing ahead of the Ducks. I think they're better than the Ducks. But if you look at what they need Bennett to develop to that second-line center, or they need a second-line center. Chuck gonna need to develop his goal-scoring ability, and they need a first-line right winger, and maybe even a second-line right winger as Fu can't step in. With the NCAA free agent signings, it's a 50-50. Sometimes you'll get a bum, and sometimes you'll get a Tyler Johnson. Just take a chance with it. It might happen, it might not, but they still need that first-line right winger. I don't see Fu being able to step in to play that role, but you never know if a trade might happen, but they don't really have anything to trade. They already made the big trade for Hamonic, improved their defense core. So they are improved an already impressive defense core. I think their offense is going to have a big season next year. I think their goaltending is definitely upgraded from Brian Elliott. I'd see Mike Smith as a definitely better than Brian Elliott. And yeah. So tell me how you guys think the Flames are going to go. Tell me where I messed up in their lineups. Tell me who you think is going to finish ahead of them. Or tell me where you think they're going to finish. Do you think they're going to win the division? Do you think they're even going to make the playoffs? I think they will. I don't know if it might be a little biased or anything, but I think they're going to finish the playoffs. I think Goudreau's going to have a really, really good season next year. And yeah, what do you guys think of them? Make sure you tell me in the comments below. I want to hear. And thank you guys for watching. Peace. Oh, wait. I almost forgot to say. Monahan, do you guys think he's a first line center? I do. I think he's going to be able to be a capable first line center. But if they add that right winger, they're in that next level. I don't know who they could add, but yeah, maybe you add a Matt Duchene and have him play a right wing. I don't really know if they want to give up what they want, but it's just trade speculation. There's really no point to it, but thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new, and make sure you leave a like. Peace.